Hello, everyone. We are extremely excited to have you all here today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your Saturday evenings to join us for our launch. Finally, putting a face to the voice behind the phone. I know a lot of you have been in touch with me. My name is Tanisha, and I recently graduated from Claremont McKenna College. My team members and I have been in touch with a lot of you to onboard you onto our platform. So, in light of this event, we launched our website today and wanted to use this opportunity to formally introduce Fempower to you. During this call, we will be outlining our mission as well as explaining our process, elaborating on how you can better engage with our platform moving forward, as well as detail our short term goals as well as our long term vision. We also have three amazing entrepreneurs who are featured on our platform giving speeches today and sharing their narratives on navigating India's entrepreneurial landscape as a female founder. At the end of the call, we will open up for questions. With that, I am going to introduce my team to you briefly.
Hi, I'm Kanika. I recently graduated from USC and I've been working on the content side of Fempower and been onboarding some of our entrepreneurs.
Hi everyone, I'm Nitya and I recently graduated from the University of Chicago and I've been working on helping develop the content for Fempower's platform.
Hi everybody, I'm Arshia and I've been working on designing the website and developing it as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisha. I recently graduated from Babson College and I've been working on the design aspect of Fempower's platform.
Hi everyone, I'm Neti. I recently graduated from Pratt Institute and I'm working on the graphic and design aspect of Fempower.
So, a quick backstory of our team. The six of us went to high school together, and towards the end of college, all recognized our common interest in entrepreneurship and the lack of resources we have today in India. This led to the creation of Fempower, which Tanika will now speak more about.
Thanks, Tanisha, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Some of you might be wondering, what's Fempower? So Fempower is a platform for established and aspiring entrepreneurs to connect, access to resources, and collaborate with each other. While scoping the entrepreneurial landscape in India, we realized women are hugely underrepresented, especially in fields such as tech and finance, and also face challenges such as raising funds that is much less of an issue for their male counterparts. However, women are multi-talented individuals with a passion like no other. We wanted to create a platform where female entrepreneurs can learn from one another, access tips and advice through our resources such as articles and podcasts, and also potentially collaborate with other women from different industries. Identifying the gap in the market as there is no such other platform, we created Fempower. Fempower's mission is to build a community and support women that share a common vision of entrepreneurship and to help them help each other overcome hurdles that female entrepreneurs face in India. We also want the platform to be used as an educational tool for younger women embarking on their entrepreneurship journey through mentorship opportunities. Fempower hopes to be the middleman connecting women in this community and redefining the role of women in India. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Aisha to talk more about our process.
So to outline our process, for the past couple of months, we've been reaching out to female entrepreneurs to gauge their interest for such a platform, and the feedback has been extremely encouraging. All the entrepreneurs on board have expressed their appreciation for what Fempower is trying to build, and we're very grateful for that. We have curated roughly 50 profiles of the entrepreneurs who are featured on the platform, outlining information about them, their companies, and their journeys. And we'll soon expand our platform on like social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. Going forward, I'm going to hand it over to Arshia.
We hope that you really do visit our website and take a chance to learn about these young driven entrepreneurs such as yourselves and sign up for our newsletter too. I would like to request Niyati to introduce our honorable guest for today.
Thank you, Arshia. Before I begin introducing the speakers, if any of the participants on this call have questions for speakers, please type it into the chat box below and we'll circle back to it later. Now we would like to invite three of our featured entrepreneurs, Kanika, Tekriwal, Devita, Saraf, and Sairee Chahal, to speak about their journeys. I'll begin by introducing Kanika, a pursuer of optimism, drive, and excellence. Ms. Kanika Tekriwal, CEO and co-founder, Jet Set Go, first entered the aviation industry at the age of 17, hustling college and a full-time job. Kanika Tekriwal is redefining what it means to fly through pioneering Jet Set Go, the region's most innovative private aviation company, which currently manages and operates India's largest private jet and helicopter fleet. Her expertise and vision have brought her the National Entrepreneurship Award from the Government of India. Her turn every no into a yes attitude has also led her to leave a mark on numerous coveted lists such as Forbes 30 Under 30, BBC's 100 Most Inspirational Women, Young Global Leader by Women by World Economic Forum, and CNN's 20 Under 40. Without further ado, we welcome Kanika Tekriwal.
Hi, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, guys. And it's really incredible what y'all are doing, because I remember when I started my business, the word startup and entrepreneurship wasn't on anyone's dictionary. I remember one of my dad's friends saying, "You're making an app. Is that a mobile game?" And being a woman in aviation, I remember I was really young and I used to attend these air shows and events. And like I joke with my team, I used to probably be the only skirt in a sea of bald heads and suits. And I would often get mistaken as an assistant or a secretary. Someone even asked me to get them a drink in my early days. And women in aviation wasn't something that was really even now it's not something that you come across frequently. And I think about 6 years ago or 5 years ago, I was asked in an interview, what does it feel like to be the only woman running an airline in Asia? And that actually came as a shock to me. And I was like, are you sure there's no one else? And they were like, yeah, we've done our research. And it just made me think that are we a nation of some of the brightest women in the world who really don't go out there and take the steps we should be taking to do what is right? And I think a large part of it is to do with the society that surrounds us, where we're told, baking cupcakes is fine and being a designer is fine, but manufacturing televisions or running planes is not, especially when you belong to a Marwari family. So, I'm really glad that, you guys are putting this together, because I mentor a lot of young girls, and more frequently than not, their biggest challenge is resources, access to the right people, and how do we go out and get the right information. And a lot of them face a lot of issues in boardrooms with VCs because they're not taken as seriously. So I think it's great as to what you're doing. Whatever I feel like. So I'm going to run you through what we did as Jet Set Go and how we got here. We actually started the business as a like a make my trip or a kayak for private jets. And we realized along the path very early in life that it's not going to work. We're only solving 10 to 15% of the problem. And that's when I said, we've got to go out there and run our own planes, because we're not going to be able to solve the real problem we were out there to solve. And everyone laughed at me. I remember people saying that, she's lost her marbles. She wants to run private jets in India. Where's she going to get capital from, etc. I've only invested, I think, a little over 5,500 rupees in the company, which at a previous dollar rate, I used to very happily say, oh, I've just invested $100. But now I can't do that. And, it was in fact, I think because people didn't take me so seriously, it was probably easier to go out there and do what I wanted to do. Because like they say, stay hungry, stay foolish. I was very foolish and naive enough to believe in whatever I thought was right and keep going and doing that. In hindsight, would I do that now as someone with so much experience? I really wonder why. But if I would, and whether I would take my own ideas as seriously as I used to. But I think that's the number one learning for me, that, the whole world will keep telling you, no, this doesn't make sense. No, don't be foolish. No, this is not going to work in India. And we as women have this superpower. We've got this amazing instinct where we know what is right, who is right, what is wrong. And that's what's really, driven me to keep going. I remember when I started the company, everyone who was a potential customer told me this is not going to work. I met someone at a party and I said, you've got to use our planes and do this and do this. And he's like, aap plane udaoge? Are you sure? Is my life safe? And, two or 3 months later, he turned into a customer. And today he's our largest customer. He's our biggest champion. He gets us a lot more business. And, contrary to what everyone says, I think a lot of people used to tell me, how are you going to succeed as a woman in a business that's this regulated and that has so much bureaucracy and red tapeism and all of that? It's really worked for me because, every time I had to go to any government organization for an approval, everyone's a bhaiya or an uncle and they automatically do their work because you have this face looking at them very innocently saying, sir, please kar dijiye, bhaiya, please kar dijiye. So I don't think if guys would have gotten it that easy, to be honest. But, I always joke that I get away with murder being a girl, just smiling off my biggest problems. How hard is it for a customer to yell at a girl as against yell at a guy? So my commercial team, when they goof up, they always call me and they're like, ma'am, you please call up and say sorry because you won't be screamed at as much as we'll be screamed at. So I think, it's about how whether you look at the glass half full or half empty. I don't think there's any better time than now to be a woman and be an entrepreneur. You've got the whole world trying to make it work for you. You've got the government, you've got people like yourself creating platforms, you've got a lot of other women who've paved the path for people like us to succeed. I can't imagine my mom doing what I'm doing, to be very honest. She had a lot of battles to fight. Today, it's okay for me to say, oh, I hate cooking and I eat out, 365 days, 3 meals a day. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people actually saying that and dealing with that. So I think, apart from that, I just think that if you really believe in yourself and if you really think that you can, there's nothing in the world can stop you from doing what you really want to do. And, look at the current circumstances. You've got COVID, which has locked all of us up. You guys are still going out there doing a launch, gearing it up. And everyone should learn from you all because, I think it's about how you turn every adversity into opportunity. And I think COVID's going to come out with a new world order, and they're going to be there's going to be this like whole range of companies that are going to change the older names we're used to or necessarily agree with or use in a year to come. So I think it's a great time to start looking at being an entrepreneur. It's a great time to look for ideas. It's a great time to do stuff. And you guys have set the best example by doing what you're doing right now. Yeah, that's about it from me. I think like I've taken a lot of your time.
Thank you so much for that insightful speech, Kanika. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, Devita Saraf, the Chairman and CEO of View Technologies, a leader in premium televisions in India. Devita is one of India's leading businesswomen and the first Indian woman to build a major technology brand. She studied management at Harvard Business School and is a member of the Mensa, which is a high IQ society. She has been listed as one of Fortune's top 50 most powerful women in India and has been an op-ed columnist for the Wall Street Journal. Devita is passionate about leadership, entrepreneurship, innovation, design, and style. Presenting to you, Devita Saraf.
Hey guys, first of all, congratulations to all of you here for doing this amazing launch. I wish I had something like this when I was starting out my career. And as I think Kanika will agree, it's been a bit of a lonesome battle for a lot of us. But just the fact that you have so many young women supporting each other and wanting to help other young women, I think that's amazing. So major big pat on the back to all of you here for sure. And also for all the parents I can see who have come in to support their family members. And I think that's amazing because at the end of the day, for a successful woman, it's very important that we have an ecosystem of people who really support us. And all we have to appreciate all the sacrifices, as Kanika said, the previous generation has made for us. I will say this that Kanika herself is a very special person. She and I actually became friends when we were both part of the Prime Minister's Young CEO panel. The only difference is that Prime Minister Modi knows Kanika by first name, and I don't think he has any clue who I am. So, just telling you, secret, when Modi sees Kanika, he says, "Hi, Kanika." So she's a really important person, and I think you guys have got a great starting sounding board or whatever that you're putting here. I will say a little bit about myself. Actually, when the lockdown started, I have been working. I started this company nearly 15 years ago, like literally straight out of college. And I'm turning 39 next week. So I was going through a bit of a moment in my life, and I'm like, is this something I really want to do? Because I've been working nonstop for over a decade now. So I said, maybe I want to, become a housewife. Maybe I want to become a politician. Maybe I want to join Bollywood. I don't know. I said, let me just take a sabbatical at this lockdown time and sit at home. And apart from making banana bread and dalgona coffee, let me just see what I want to do. It was really bad, by the way. I think I'm better at making a company than making a cake for sure. And after like a few weeks of faffing on Instagram, I realized that, you know what, I just have it in me. I just love being a boss. I just love being an entrepreneur. I definitely don't want to be running the country of the situation that it is today. And, with all the situation, I realized that at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is something that really comes from within you. And a lot of us have that within us, as Kanika had also put on your Fempower website that I saw that, you have to believe in yourself. So sometimes we've been raised to believe that, we are good leaders, or we can be bosses, or we can be entrepreneurs. And sometimes we're raised to believe maybe it's a gender issue or an age issue and that we're not cut out for it. So the first thing I would say is very important of how you see yourself. And I think from the age of 4 or 5, I knew I wanted to be in the business space. I've always been a bit of a rebel in that perspective. I just didn't want to lead a life that was very, the same as, again, the women in my family. I really wanted to be a path breaker in that way. And I'm so glad to see that, India has really progressed in that aspect, although a lot more to come in those things. So from my business perspective, I will say when I started this company and I came from a family business of technology, I have an older brother who has his own software business. So it's not like I was shoved into it for lack of male heir. It was both because my parents were just incredibly educated and open-minded, and they said, both of you have to have really strong careers. And I was always ambitious. I went to USC. I think some people here went to USC. I can see Tanika saying that. Fight on.
Fight on.
So, fight on. It was a long time ago now for me. So I went to USC. I came back and I started this company. And I said, you know what? I want to be in business, but the tech industry is super boring. And going to my dad's office is interesting, but the whole industry is just very male. It's just overly competitive. It's just very dry. But the luxury business is so much fun. Even if I go to buy a bag or something, it's such a holistic, fun, like almost emotional process. So I said, why don't I bring the two worlds together? And with my passion for both innovation and design, I came up with this plan for View Luxury and Technology. And I presented it to my dad and I said, you know what, I have this idea to start a company. And he said, so you want to be, I was 24, and he's like, you want to be the CEO of this thing? And I said, yeah. So I started it, and it has been a long journey. For the first day, I think it took some 20, 30 lakhs from my dad to start this business, which isn't a massive amount considering people raise like crores of rupees and burn through them equally fast. But for the first 8 years, I was just sort of bootstrapping and my business. Every 3 days, my dad would say, listen, India is not a place for luxury. You need to shut this business down. But thankfully, I was patient and I wasn't burning too much of his money. But for 8 years, just getting my team right, my lab right, my product right, my brand right, my distribution right, finance right, structure right, everything right, took time. So please don't think that you want to be an overnight success. Overnight success also takes 15 years. Let it be a bit of a patience game. And it took, for the first 8 years, we went from 0 to 35 crores. And now in the past 4.5 years, we have gone to 1,000 crores. So sometimes to get that J curve going, you have to build a very strong base. And during this lockdown, we've actually emerged as the number one TV brand in the past 1 month, especially larger sizes. I've been working nonstop. I had a launch last week, another launch on Monday, just because we built strong teams, strong systems, strong lab, product, marketing process. So I will say the first advice to everyone is, do something that's unique, in an industry that may be a bit boring. It's a good way, especially if you come from a family business. It's a good way to have a base, but take your time to get it right. Like, really don't compare yourself to anyone else or your business to anyone else. As long as you're not burning crazy cash, just see that you can grow organically so you don't have to raise any debt and you have a very strong positioning. The second aspect I will say is that I am personally quite a rebel, I would say. I am, of course, a lot older than all of you here. So I think you guys are a generation which are a lot more equal when it comes to gender issues. I meet so many people in their 20s today, and I think the challenges for each generation is different. The first thing I would say is I know this is a very Insta generation, and the first thing to do is just I started a company. Let me take a picture. Hashtag hustle. Everyone wants to go out there. Everyone wants to show how they're totally on it. Please don't do so much of that. Don't be in competition with anyone but yourself, because everyone has their own game, and you'd rather go all out when you build something big than start with a big bang and then just fizzle out. 10 years after I started my company, I decided to be the face of my company and appear in the ads. And in just the past week, it's funny because I came on the cover of Hello and I did the cover story of Fortune. And I was telling my friends, I said, it took me a long time, but I always want to prove that women can be intelligent and good looking. It's not an either or. Men are not pressurized to choose. But I think Indian women especially, and especially if you take our goddesses, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, they're beautiful, they are resplendent, they are giving, and they're still, of course, having the portfolio of finance, education, and defense. And that's where I get my inspiration from. So I hope for all you girls here who are starting out, you don't get too much into the pressure of, trying to one up with your friends. Take your time and build something that's really strong and then go out there. I'd rather all of you, I'd rather that more magazines put more business women on the cover than actresses, to be honest. And I hope all of you really, really set the bar high for yourself. So I understand it's a lot of fun to have a business and then you're focused on your personal life, etc. But this kind of life comes with a lot of sacrifices if you want it. But to play the big game, you have to aim really big. So whatever your goal is, think bigger. So in the middle of the lockdown, after 1 month of having burnt enough banana breads, and I decided that that's not a career I can pursue. If anybody wants to send me a birthday cake, please by all means give it to me. Otherwise, if I make my own cake, it will be my last. But I woke up one day and I just went and told my dad. I mean, I'm not married. I live with my parents. And I just bought my own apartment, by the way, which is not even being ready because of Corona lockdown. And I just woke up one day and I went and told my dad, I'm like, what do you think I should do to make you a 5,000 crore company? And he was just like, geez, don't you have enough? And I was like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. It's in my blood. I can never be satisfied. So I think for a lot of young women, we are all very charged when we see the first article, the first, sale, the first milestone. Please just aim as big as you can. I think this is a generation where women technically, and I meet a lot of young people. Women are like so on it. Let's just all make a generation that in the next 10 years, when you girls become my age, the Fortune top list, they don't have a most powerful women list. The main list has all women, and maybe the guys are in the most powerful men list. So I wish all of you here with Fempower the very best. Aim big, aim high, do your own thing, and remember to compete with yourself. And please go ahead and kick ass. You all my love and wishes.
Thank you for the insightful speech, Devita. Moving on to our final speaker, Sairee Chahal. Sairee is the founder and CEO of SHEROES. SHEROES is a women-only social network accessible via SHEROES.com and the SHEROES app, offering communities a chat-based helpline, resources, mentorship, peer-to-peer conversation, health tracking, and marketplace and opportunities for women. Sairee is on the board of directors of Paytm Payments Bank and Milan Foundation and an ambassador for Girls X Tech Foundation. She is a recipient of the Devi Award, Femina Achievers Award, Editor's Choice for L'Oreal, Femina Women Award, and Business Today, Most Powerful Women in the Indian Business, and a Cartier Award alumni. In 2019, SHEROES was awarded in the Social and Economic Empowerment category at the IAMIA Award. And now we present to you Sairee Chahal.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, and congratulations on the launch. It's amazing to see what you guys have put together, and it's amazing to see the response. I'm particularly happy to be here. I think a lot of what you guys have set out to do is exactly what is in line of SHEROES. But quickly, what I want to share with you is a little bit of my own story. A lot of women we work for on SHEROES are the kind of women I know in my own life. I'm a small town girl who comes from a very regular middle class family, but I got very lucky early in my career because I got to build a company in 99, and in those days nobody had fancy terms like startups and VCs and exits. You just built a business. But we built a company called Newslink, which became world's first newspaper for mariners, and I was the first person on the team, and I was not even supposed to be there. I was supposed to be an academic, get my PhD, go on with life. But serendipity and a chance meeting with this guy called Deepak, who was ex-merchant Navy guy, and he was like, I've sailed all my life and I want to sort of solve the problem of good news from home, and I'm looking for somebody to help me with that. I had no idea what he was talking about, but he seemed really genuine, very sincere, and there I was next day cleaning out an apartment to make our first office, set up shop, and beginner's luck, a little bit of blind spots. Newslink became highly successful. We had about 2/3 of the merchant navy industry as customers. It still runs. It's been almost 20 years now, and the company got acquired 3-4 years later. But that became my learning ground. How to hire, how to build a product, how to sell, how to run ops. And here I was just out of college with no experience of anything, leave aside business. So that sort of really became my base. But the other thing that I took away from that, and that stayed with me for a long time, was the fact that internet can be so compelling. Internet and technology can be a game changer. And it can be a game changer at scale. It can mean a lot of difference to a lot of people, and I think we're seeing that play out in India, faster and bigger than ever before. But just to share a little context on technology, India is home to almost 600 million internet users now. But what has been transpiring is that if you look at broad level usage, 80% of TikTok users are men, 80% of Times Internet users are men, 80% of e-commerce buyers are men. What that means is that women are online. We already have 270 million women who are connected to the internet, but they're not using the internet. And we double clicked on that and we learned, hey, using the internet is pretty much a part of the narrative that we see in daily lives. It's unsafe, it's scary, it's slightly abusive. You can get trolled, and as a lot of women who are first-time internet users, it can be an intimidating place. So the idea of SHEROES was to build a safe high trust, high growth experience for women online. And also learning from a very India experience where women only communities have done very well. So India is uniquely the country that has produced Seva, that has produced microfinance, that has produced Amal, that has produced Asha workers. Women only offline networks have succeeded exceptionally well. So we went back to that and we said, hey, we're going to take this online. We're going to build this playbook online. And that's what we did at SHEROES. So when women come online, they can find identities, they can find a network that roots for them, they find a lot of support around well-being. We're on a counseling helpline, they can find health advice, relationship advice, careers, uh, look for work, all of that. And then most importantly, they're able to find resources to either look for work or be an entrepreneur, or more so a micro entrepreneur, buy and sell goods within their peer group. So that's fundamentally SHEROES. 70% of women on SHEROES come from very small towns. Women who typically do not go and download apps, women who typically don't do online transactions. But guess what? They're making a slow change to becoming avid internet users. And so today across the network, we are about 20 million women. And we hope to get to like 100, in next 2-3 years. But my big learning is that just like we need this group for entrepreneurs, we need to support women across segments. We need to create safe spaces where people can find their feet, people can find their voice, their self-expression, their need for growth, financial growth, and their own personal growth. And that's what we're trying to do at SHEROES. I find that as a founder, it's good to have a little bit of a thick skin and bad hearing, because it goes a long way in not listening to common logic, repeated logic. The more common a logic is, chances are the less exceptional its outcome is going to be. So a lot of what we do at SHEROES were assumptions made almost 5 years ago, and at that time these assumptions weren't popular. That women will come online and start using the internet. We saw our usage double during the pandemic. We saw April, May were like the biggest months for the company. What we also do is we run a business of remote work, and we've run it for 3 years, and our average sales cycle used to be 6 to 8 weeks. In a post-COVID world, that sales cycle is about 2 weeks. So it's amazing how a lot of our assumptions are now playing out. But what we see is that entrepreneurship will do for women what corporate jobs couldn't. I think we've seen every year that the number of women in corporate workforce keeps declining, but the number of women who are taking to entrepreneurship to build their own roadmaps is ever expanding. And this is across, it could be all of us in the room, but it's also, women who live in small villages and smaller towns like Bilaspur and Bharuch and Jabalpur and across the country. So I see this as a wave, and I'm very excited by it. And I think there are a lot of universal themes that cut across. All businesses have the same fundamentals. All businesses need to make money. All founders, all entrepreneurs need support, and networks do that for them. So I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing, and happy to support you in any way I can.
Thank you for this speech, Sairee. It was extremely informative. Your journey is so inspirational, and I think recognizing and leveraging technology in today's world is so important, especially to support the female ecosystem. And once again, thank you to all our speakers. Now, I will be sharing some of Fempower's short-term goals as well as our long-term vision. In the short term, we plan to continue onboarding our entrepreneurs and featuring their profiles on our platform. We will curate content ranging from articles, interviews, and educational podcasts, which will be posted on our website. And hopefully in the future, move on to in-person events.
Thank you, Tanisha. I'm going to talk about the more long-term vision of Fempower. So in the longer term, we hope to fulfill a larger purpose. We'll continue to find more and more ways to make sure that the engagement with our platform is fruitful for both of the marketplaces that we're trying to cater to, established entrepreneurs as well as aspiring entrepreneurs. For the entrepreneurs that are featured on our website, we hope that you can peruse through the profiles of our other featured entrepreneurs and identify people that you might want to connect with or collaborate with. Also, if you're interested in hiring an intern or becoming a mentor to an aspiring entrepreneur, drop us a note and we can help facilitate these connections. Further, we've been in contact with women-focused venture capital firms for partnership opportunities so that they can provide funding to some of our featured entrepreneurs that need funding for their companies. And in fact, some of our featured entrepreneurs themselves have also expressed their interest and willingness in providing seed stage funding to companies. And so we think it would be a great opportunity for those of you that need funding. Also, for young women that are interested in pursuing entrepreneurship as a career, we plan to curate training content such as how to pitch for funding, make decks, build financial models, and how to acquire customers as an educational initiative. Eventually, we hope to partner with schools to make the platform available to high school students by giving them access to this training content and also linking them to potential internship opportunities at some of our featured entrepreneurs companies. Ultimately, we hope to be a resource where women at every stage of their entrepreneurial journey can find something useful that they can benefit from. So with that, I'd like to wrap up the call. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's call. We hope that this was helpful in shedding more light on what we hope to achieve through this platform. At this point, I'd like to open the floor to address some questions that we've received through the call. Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate you taking up the time on your Saturday evening, and we're so excited about this. And Kanika, I'm going to hand it over to her now, and she'll lead the question and answer session.
Sure. One of the questions we received personally was, what if someone is interested in applying to be featured on our platform? Well, that's a great question. People have reached out to us as well when they've heard, through other people about this platform and this initiative. I would say that send us the link to our website and we are more than happy to jump onto a call with you guys and discuss the different opportunities and see what stage you guys are at. And based on our need and your need, we can try and find a good fit. Can men support the Fempower platform? I think that's an amazing question. Would anybody on the team like to take that question?
Of course, I can go for that. I think the way for men to support this platform is just to recognize how much support the female ecosystem in India today needs. And by just being helpful and, understanding your fellow colleagues who are female struggles in getting to where they are today, especially in a culture that we have that persists in India, where women need to break away from traditions, as Kanika, Devita, and also Sairee mentioned in their speeches, that, coming from typical Marwari families, they never foresaw themselves as entrepreneurs, and how that the generations prior to them gave up a lot for them to get to where they are today. So I think just being cognizant of that fact and recognizing that, it's not always as easy for a female as it is for yourself as a man, I think that will more than support our platform.
Thanks, Tanisha. We got another question from Mr. Bharat Shah. And how does a remote investor find out about opportunities to invest and support in new ventures? So I would like to give you an example of one of the situations that we came across in our early weeks, or not early weeks, in the last few weeks actually. So a VC approached us and they wanted to collaborate with us. And at the same time, they were seeking an opportunity to invest in an inclusive beauty brand. one of the beauty brands we hold on our platform, which is extremely inclusive and produces products which are so safe and not even animal tested or anything, totally ethical, is Faye Beauty. Karishma Keval Ramani has founded this company. So we put her in touch with that VC fund, and they are taking the conversation forward to see whether they're a good fit and whether they can invest in her. So that's a great question. So if you're interested in collaborating with us, please reach out, and we would love to take it forward in any way. Thank you. We have another question from Ananya. Is it possible to reach out to the other members on the platform to collaborate on projects? Does anybody else?
Yes, I can take it. I think the primary purpose of our initiative is to enable these connections and collaborations. So if you wish to connect with any other member of our community, you can just contact us and we can facilitate that connection for you. So please, use the contact us feature, which is available on our website. Email us, we love to hear from you, and we can get that going.
Ashni, I think that's a great suggestion. She gave us a suggestion. It would be great if you could also get consultants on board, I think, for various business areas. I agree totally. We are definitely looking to partner up with more initiatives. In fact, we've been in touch with the World Economic Forum as well, and we're planning to collaborate with global shapers. So excited in all ways and forms, because like our speakers also mentioned, this is a great time for women to be starting businesses and growing their businesses, because we are in the focus, we are the spotlight, we are so talented. Speaking to so many women and reading about all the achievements that you guys have made, and like being able to feature you on our platform, that's what's made this platform so successful, even so at its early stages. So thank you all for being such a big part of it. Looking
to Kanika's point, we also, other than consultants, we also provide mentorship opportunities through our platform. So let's say you're an aspiring or younger entrepreneur, you can look at the entrepreneurs in your industry that are more established, that are featured on our platform, and we can help facilitate that connection if they are open to it, of you getting assigned to them as a mentor, and they can help you through the process.
We really appreciate you guys for coming here, especially all the hearty congratulations we received in the messages. It really helps us. Thank you.
And thank you for all the encouragement and all the support that we've been getting throughout this whole experience. We really appreciate it. And it's so encouraging that people want to be part of this initiative. People want to collaborate with us and believe in the female vision, because it encourages us to work harder and like reach out to more entrepreneurs. So thank you for all the wishes and all the support. And I hope everybody is staying safe and staying well. Take care. Lots of love. My fellow partners can join me in saying goodbye to you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.